Namaskar, dear seekers. Today's Pravachan of Shri Brahmachaitanya Maharaj brings our attention to one of the deepest truths in the path of devotion, doing our duty without pride of doership. Just as a river flows without pride of quenching thirst, and the sun shines without ego of giving light, so too must a devotee act in this world, as an instrument of the Lord, not the master of his actions. Let us now listen to Maharaj's nectar-like words. The first step in the process of learning anything, whether in the material field or spiritual, is the assumption of ignorance. We go about, however, with a vainglorious pride that we know everything. In spirituality, there is no greater enemy than such pride. To say that it is like the pernicious weed to a field would be underrating its evil efficacy, for the weed makes itself apparent and can be uprooted, whereas this pride is subtle, unnoticed, and usually unadmitted by a person. There is no telling when it will crop up and make itself felt. It is the main obstruction to purification of the heart. Nothing would be sillier and more doomed to failure than to imagine that one could surmount it with one's own prowess. The only way to overcome it is to go into utter, unquestioning surrender to the Sadguru, and constantly to pray him to deliver you from its clutches. A heart thoroughly purged of doubt and desire is like a pit which is filled with good soil and proper manure for planting a tree. The next step is to sow a seed of best quality and perfect purity. Even with all such care, it may happen that the final product is not up to the mark, and the hopes entertained at the beginning are belied. It may happen besides that after a certain age the tree becomes unproductive or gets a rot of one kind or another. Altogether, a time comes when it ceases to give the pleasure expected in the beginning and actually proves a nuisance. It would have been better to select a seed which would grow into a tree yielding pleasant fruit for endless time. Now, does our experience show anything which provides uncloying, unperishing pleasure? The answer must inevitably be in the negative. We are driven to conclude that anything done for a perishable objective is predestined to failure in ultimate fulfillment. Consequently, we realize that the only way to everlasting pleasure and bliss is to do one's duty with no sensate object in view. We should fervently pray God to ask of him the gift of devotion without any objective but himself, and our effort should be directed to that end. We use the sifting fan to blow away the rotten grain and retain only the pure. Similarly, we should practice to discard all desire but that for God and resort to devotion with no object but him. Sage Bharadvaja was once so devoted to studying the Vedas and spiritual knowledge that he performed intense tapas for 3 lifetimes, desiring to master all knowledge. Seeing his unwavering dedication, Lord Indra himself appeared before him. Bharadvaja requested Indra, "Grant me complete knowledge of all the Vedas." Indra smiled and pointed to 3 small handfuls of soil from the Himalayas. He said, "O great Rishi, the knowledge you have acquired in 3 lifetimes is but these 3 handfuls, while the Vedas are like the vast Himalayas behind me. Even in 100 lifetimes, no one can grasp all knowledge. Abandon the pride of being a knower. True wisdom lies not in possession of knowledge, but in living by Dharma without ego." At that moment, Bharadvaja fell at Indra's feet in humility. His pride as a great scholar dissolved completely. He realized that even his immense learning was meaningless, if not offered as service to the divine. He returned to his ashram, renounced all pride, and continued to teach and serve seekers as a humble vessel of God, never again thinking I know or I do. Just as Sage Bharadvaja saw even 3 lifetimes of effort as tiny in the face of divine mystery, we too must learn to discard the pride of effort and accept the Lord as the true doer. Maharaj reminds us, desirelessness is the fruit of right effort, and true devotion seeks no gain but God alone. Let us pray to the Sadguru for such humble service and ego-free devotion. Let every action be an offering. Let every moment be soaked in nama. Let us live, not in pride, but in surrender.